Before Naruto, before Boruto, before the shinobi world itself, there was Kaguya Otsutsuki, the woman who changed everything. She wasn't on Earth by accident. Kaguya was a member of the Otsutsuki clan, a family of cosmic predators who traveled from planet to planet, planting god trees and stealing their chakra fruits. Earth was supposed to be just another mission, but Kaguya broke every rule. She betrayed her partner and ate the chakra fruit herself. Why? Because she had fallen in love with Earth. At first, she wanted peace, a world without endless wars. But soon, that love turned into obsession. To her, humans weren't people anymore. They were property. Her power was terrifying. With the Byakugan, she could see every chakra network with absolute clarity. With the Rena Sharingan, the third eye on her forehead, she could cast infinite Tsukuyomi, trapping the entire world in an endless dream. And if that wasn't enough, she could hop between dimensions or even create new ones at will. Her mastery over chakra was so insane, she could manipulate all 5 nature transformations, mix them, and use truth-seeking orbs to make herself almost untouchable. In the end, she began turning humans into white Zetsu soldiers, preparing for a war against her own clan. But her sons, Hagoromo and Hamura, couldn't stand by and watch her mother's descent into tyranny. Together, they fought and sealed her away after a battle that shaped history itself. Or so they thought, because Kaguya's will didn't die. It lived on through Black Zetsu, who spent 1,000 years plotting her return. Hagoromo Otsutsuki. If Kaguya is the origin, then her son Hagoromo is the architect of the world we know today. Known as the Sage of Six Paths, Hagoromo is basically the reason the ninja world exists at all. After sealing Kaguya with his brother, Hagoromo became the first ever Jinchuriki by sealing the 10 tails inside himself. His powers were god tier: Rinnegan, Six-Path Sage Mode, mastery of truth-seeking orbs, but his most important act? Splitting the 10 tails into 9 beings, the tailed beasts. He gave each one a name and a personality, hoping they'd form bonds with humans instead of being treated as weapons. That decision alone shaped the future of the shinobi world. Hagoromo's dream was peace. He believed chakra was meant to connect hearts and minds, not to wage war. That's why he created ninshu, the foundation of everything that would later become ninjutsu. But even the sage wasn't perfect. His 2 sons, Indra and Asura, inherited his power in very different ways. Indra, the genius, believed in strength and control. Asura, less gifted but full of heart, believed in unity and cooperation. Hagoromo chose Asura as his successor, which sparked Indra's jealousy and began the cycle of hatred that would echo for centuries. That endless rivalry eventually reincarnated as Naruto and Sasuke, the living proof of Hagoromo's greatest mistake. And yet, in the end, he gave them both his power equally, hoping they would succeed where he had failed. Hamura Otsutsuki. While Hagoromo shaped the shinobi world, his twin brother Hamura chose a different path. After helping seal Kaguya, Hamura led a group of followers to the moon to guard the husk of the 10 tails. His mission? Prevent their mother's return at all costs. Hamura inherited Kaguya's Byakugan, and over time, his eyes evolved into the Tensagan, a dojutsu so powerful it gave him control over gravity itself. He also possessed 6-Path Sage Mode and Truth-Seeking Orbs, making him one of the strongest beings in history. On Earth, his bloodline became the Hyuga clan. On the Moon, his descendants formed the Lunar Otsutsuki. For centuries, they upheld Hamura's teachings, until Toneri Otsutsuki, the last of the lunar branch, twisted his ancestors' words and tried to destroy Earth using the Moon as a weapon. But in the end, Hinata Hyuga, the descendant of Hamura's bloodline on Earth, reached Toneri's heart. He realized his mistake, and the Moon never threatened Earth again. Hamura's legacy may not be as famous as Hagoromo's, but without him, the shinobi world would have been erased long before Boruto's story even began. Kinshiki Otsutsuki, the muscle of the clan. He wasn't the brains of the operation, but what he lacked in schemes, he made up for with raw, terrifying strength. Kinshiki was the guardian and adoptive father of Momoshiki, and in classic Otsutsuki tradition, that role came with one purpose. One day, he'd sacrifice himself to make Momoshiki stronger. Kinshiki's fighting style was simple but devastating. Pure physical power, insane close-quarters combat, and a giant chakra halberd that could slice through a god tree like it was made of butter. Even Sasuke had trouble keeping up with him. And when Kinshiki absorbed chakra, he could shape it into glowing red weapons, axes, spears, but in the end, Kinshiki's fate was sealed. During the battle against Naruto and Sasuke, he willingly allowed Momoshiki to consume him. Imagine being so loyal that you literally let your son eat you alive to get stronger. Brutal, but that's the Otsutsuki way. Momoshiki Otsutsuki. If Kinshiki was the muscle, Momoshiki was the ambition. He's the guy who basically installed a DLC inside Boruto. Yeah, I'm talking about the Karma Mark. His goal, same as the rest of the clan, harvest Earth's chakra, eat the fruit, and flex on the galaxy. But Momoshiki was built different. He had both Byakugan eyes and not one, but two Rinnegan in his palms. That meant he could absorb literally any jutsu thrown at him and blast it back, amped to god levels. Naruto's Rasengan, Sasuke's Chido, useless. He just yoinks the chakra and spams it back twice as strong. And after absorbing Kinshiki, Momoshiki became an absolute monster, pushing both Naruto and Sasuke to their limits, even with Six Paths power. Still, he underestimated Boruto. In the Boruto movie and later the anime, it was Boruto's Rasengan amped with Naruto's chakra that delivered the killing blow. Because before dying, Momoshiki tagged Boruto with the Karma Seal, turning him into his vessel, and he left Boruto with one chilling prophecy: your blue eyes will one day take everything from you. And guess what? That prophecy has already started coming true. Boruto has lost people, his village, even his place in the world, all because of Momoshiki's curse. Oh, and just when you thought it couldn't get darker, Momoshiki can literally hijack Boruto's body at will. He even destroyed Sasuke's Rinnegan during one of these takeovers. This man is playing the long game from beyond the grave. Urashiki Otsutsuki. Unlike the others, he wasn't from the main manga. He was an anime original, but don't let that fool you. Urashiki was insanely dangerous. First off, he had Byakugan and a pair of Rinnegan that gave him control over time itself. Yeah, you heard that right. He could literally manipulate time mid-battle, which made him unpredictable as hell. Combine that with his fishing rod weapon that could steal chakra from anyone, Urashiki's vibe was different too. Playful, goofy even. But behind the smiles, he was as manipulative and ruthless as the rest of the clan. Targeted Gaara and went after the tailed beasts. His real chaos, though, came in the time slip arc. This man straight up traveled back in time to Kid Naruto's era, forcing Boruto and Sasuke to follow him. Imagine trying to protect young Naruto from an Otsutsuki who can time hack reality. In the end, it took young Naruto, Boruto, and Sasuke together to finally take him down, with a father and son Rasengan sealing the deal. But even though Urashiki is gone, his existence showed just how unpredictable the Otsutsuki really are. If a low-ranking member can bend time itself, what about the higher-ups?
Ishiki Otsutsuki. Now it's time for the monster who almost ended everything, Ishiki Otsutsuki. He came to Earth alongside Kaguya, but things didn't go according to plan. Kaguya betrayed him, left him half dead, and forced him to take over the body of a random monk named Jigen. That body was far from perfect, but Ishiki survived and plotted for over 1,000 years. His real goal? Find the perfect vessel for reincarnation. That's where Kawaki comes in. Ishiki bought him from his abusive father, marked him with karma, and began grooming him to be his ultimate vessel. Creepy? Yes. Genius? Also yes. Power-wise, Ishiki wasn't just above Kaguya, he was on a whole different level. Even while stuck in Jigen's weaker body, he clapped both Naruto and Sasuke like it was nothing. His dojutsu, the Sukuna Hikona, let him shrink himself and any object down to microscopic size instantly. Kunai, buildings, even giant chakra constructs, all pocket size now. And with Daikoko 10, he could store those objects in a pocket dimension and summon them back whenever he wanted. Imagine fighting a guy who can rain down giant blocks from nowhere while dodging you by becoming smaller than a dust particle. Yeah, nightmare fuel. Still, even Ishiki wasn't unstoppable. His downfall came in the fight against Naruto's Baryon mode, a last resort transformation that burned away both Naruto's life and Ishiki's time. And with Kawaki landing the final blow, Ishiki's body disintegrated. But here's the kicker, Ishiki's will didn't die with him. His loyal follower, Code, inherited his mission, keeping Ishiki's shadow alive. So in a way, Ishiki is still haunting Boruto's world. Finally, we reach the endgame boss of the Otsutsuki lore, Shibai Otsutsuki. This guy is so powerful, he doesn't even have a physical body anymore because he literally outgrew the need for one. Over countless millennia, Shibai devoured so many chakra fruits from so many planets that he ascended to godhood. He became the ultimate example of what every Otsutsuki dreams of becoming. His powers? Straight-up reality manipulation. Shibai mastered Shinjutsu, abilities that warped the very fabric of existence. He could control reality, see across time, and teleport across worlds like it was nothing. Just to give you an idea, modern characters like Ada and Damon only got scraps of his DNA, and those scraps gave them powers that already feel broken.
Ida's omnipotence
Lets her know everything happening anywhere, while Damon can reflect any attack back on the enemy without even trying. That's just leftovers from Shibai. And yet, we know almost nothing about him. He's the Otsutsuki god, the one who set the standard for the clan's insane hunger for evolution. Shibai is the nightmare waiting in the background, a reminder that the clan's true ceiling is way higher than anything we've seen so far.